all alone today, so I'm just in a room, just by myself, spewing opinions. And my battery's low. It'd be like this. Hello, welcome back to my channel. This week, I'm going to be reviewing The Giver. I tried so hard to read Matched. So hard. I couldn't bring myself to continue reading that book. So, you know, read pretty much the same book, just minus the love triangle. Let's jump in to the summary. Our main protagonist, Jonah, or Jonas, great name, lives in a world that is completely perfect, which is like a utopian society where the community is very controlling and everyone is the same. So it could be argued that this is dystopian because you don't get to choose anything. When he turns 12, he is selected to receive special training from the Giver, big brain, who holds the memories of true pain and loss. He pretty much just like holds them all and no one else knows what pain is and stuff, and you know. So now he must confront the truth of his world. Alright, so we are now jumping into the non-spoiler review. Hooray. I thought that the characters were really boring and just bland, and they really didn't have very much depth to them. Even the characters that are supposed to be very sympathetic have zero character traits, and they're just kind of there. I thought that the descriptions were really good. They weren't too lengthy or boring to read. They made you seem like you were right in the story, so good imagery. The community was okay. Like, I didn't love it, but it was okay. And I think that this is definitely like the first book that takes that utopian society or whatever. So, you know, good job. Good job. Now it's been copied so many times. I could have used more information about that. From what I read of Matched, sorry, I'm gonna be like comparing them because like I just failed at reading Matched. Matched does a better job of going more in depth with the world, especially when it's like such a complicated world like this one. It would be nice to have some more concrete what's going on, but you could get through the story. There wasn't really any time when it's like that was not explained and that was very central to the story. Bare minimum. Nice job. I think that the themes in this book was really well done. They're very whomp right in your face. It's very clear what they are. The plot was just, it was non-existent. They were really just vibing the whole time. It made the end of this book seem very rushed and sudden and just I did think that the ending was pretty cool though. Like the last page was pretty good. Wow, the bar is low. It would have been more of a character-driven plot, but there are no characters that meet the bare minimum requirement for being a character. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. I like was looking at all of the things that I was saying about this book and I was like, that deserves more of like a 2 stars out of 5. I was like, it just doesn't sound right to me. So 3 out of 5 stars for this thing. So we will now be jumping into the spoiler section. So if you have not read the book and you don't want spoilers, then click away now and go read the book and then come back. The characters didn't do it for me. It makes sense that Lily, Mother, Father, all of those other characters are boring because they have no emotions. But The Giver and Jonas, who are the only 2 characters who actually feel emotions and thus should have character traits, just they don't. I don't know what character traits Jonas has other than he's a kid. And The Giver, he's in pain? Question mark? He has a daughter? Question mark? I don't know what the characters are like, and I think that they should have been more developed. What even was the point of the Gabriel, like the baby, the Gabriel? What was the point of him? I really do not understand. He does nothing for the plot. He doesn't make you hate the dad more than you already do because you've just seen the dad kill a child, like a baby, and so just because he's gonna kill another baby, like that's understandable because he's kind of craziness. I don't see what the point was with him. I don't know if I'm just stupid. I didn't know what he was doing. I thought that the descriptions were pretty good, especially in the memories. I really felt like I was there alongside them with Jonas, and every time I read Jonas, I would think of the Jonas Brothers, or I would read in my brain Jonah, because it's a stupid first name. What was the point of describing one pair of eyes for like a page? You can only hear "they had depth, the deepest point of the river" so many times. That was the one complaint that I had about the descriptions. The community was just too ambiguous. Like, where are all the other communities? How do they grow food without rain? Where does their food come from? How does the system even work? What are the ceremonies? Oh my gosh, what is happening with those? It's so bizarre, and not in a way that makes any logical sense. What is even happening right now? Like, when someone dies, which is a rare occurrence, like, people don't normally die, they are released, which is mysterious, but they're actually killed. But we don't know that, so when people die, it's like, oh my goodness. But when they die, they perform a ceremony of loss, which is freaking weird. You say the person's name throughout the day, and getting less frequent and quieter as the day went on. Because there's this kid whose name was Caleb, and he like drowned in a river or whatever. So I'm just envisioning, like, just imagine people going, Caleb, 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 Caleb. Like, all day they did this. It says all day they did this. There was a murmur of replacement ceremony, which was to replace a dead child, which is why I'm talking about Caleb, because this was the point in time when there was a new child to replace him. For a society where death pretty much never happens to anyone, let alone a kid that would need to be replaced, apparently, they all seem to know exactly what to do in this very unique situation. What? It's also very clear that the author is writing from a place of privilege, because there's not even a chance for people to be LGBTQ or to break any sort of gender roles. It's possible to excuse it as like, well, they live in a controlled world, but like every other limitation is addressed except this one. They're like, oh, you can't choose to do this. Oh, you can't choose to do this. But then it's like, well, it's fine that, you know, the girls have to have long hair, you know. And it's fine that you have to be heterosexual. They kept saying male and female. Me very uncomfortable. There was also some definite child abuse in here that is treated by all the characters as a joke, and I really don't know if the narrative like recognized that it was wrong. I think it did, but I was still concerned because like Asher was like beat because he kept mispronouncing a word, and then he just didn't talk, and everyone's like, oh, Asher, remember that one time that, you know, you like were so scared that you were gonna get beat and you just like stopped talking for a while? So funny. I did think that the themes were done pretty well, and some of the moments were pretty cool. Like the moment Jonas realizes that anyone could be lying to him and he would have no idea. That was actually really well written, and I was like, oh. And how everyone lost the ability to see color was also interesting. I was very confused when Jonas kept on saying like, the apple changed, but it made for a good twist and it was well set up and executed, so nice. Also the moment where Jonas realizes that he couldn't have an actual bond with anyone because they didn't feel emotions, and he actually did feel emotions now. It would have been cooler if he had actually developed a personality while he was like getting emotions again. That would have been cool, but he stayed the same bland person he'd been the whole time. So like, this part of the book right here is Jonas being like, wow, I live in a utopia. Oh my gosh, everything is logical and perfect and wonderfully run. And then this part of the book, this like entire section, is pretty much just, oh, Jonas is living in an awful world. Look at how unfeeling and dead everyone is. Oh, and it takes forever and nothing happens. Like, it's literally just him going to the giver and just chilling, getting some memories. It made the end just so quick. I will admit though that the ending is pretty cool. I had to read it closely a couple of times to really understand what it was happening. It wasn't super clear to me. I think that I got it. I might just be kind of stupid and like you guys are gonna be like, Lorelai, that's not at all what the ending was. I'm pretty sure he comes across the modern day world at the end because it mentions like, oh, there's like Christmas trees in people's windows. Look at them, there's people down there. I don't know if that was just like him imagining it or if it actually was there. And I don't know if that ambiguity was like intended or whatever. I really don't know. I mostly just read this book and I was like, well, that happened. I wasn't like, this book sucks. And I wasn't like, oh my gosh, this book is actually pretty good. I was just kind of like, meh. Which is why I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Boom. Just so you all know, this is going to be my antepenultimate video. So I'm going to release another book review video and then I'm going to have a Q&A session with my twin sister Ella, who, if you don't know her, she's the one in the behind the camera most of the time, and we're going to be doing a Q&A about Keeper of Lost Cities, which is what her fan account, art account or whatever is about, and she's super into that series and I really don't like that series. Here are her accounts. Go follow her. She's pretty great sometimes, so look forward to that. And then I'm gonna be done because this is exhausting. All right guys, so I will see you all later for the next book review. Bye. Okay, so I don't know if you can hear that, but my dog is barking right now and I just, oh my god. Okay, so yeah, the plot was just non-existent. The plot